right now I'm working on a video about slow cinema and films that are just kind of like arduous and sometimes obtuse. It's just really difficult for the human mind of the 21st century, of Gen Z, of millennials, to really get into because they're long. I don't know. I feel like I have more scenarios with that of movies that are like, frankly, just normal movies, I would say, but just I think the perceptions of pace have changed over the years. I think we just require fast editing and all that junk, you know. In an action movie scenario, I think everything's gotta be lightning fast. John Wick or Bourne. But, you know, Western is that kind of like proto-adjacent sort of like, you know, this was a kind of, I think the Western is a subset of an action movie. If we're gonna be honest with ourselves, the Western is a kind of an action movie. You know, you look back at the Westerns and I think so many Westerns hold up. I love the works of Sergio Leone, who's really like playing with style. Like he's adapting Kurosawa films, you know, for his stuff and he's then trying to use that same sort of like austere kind of camera and attaching it to the American West. For being an Italian himself, I think it's just incredible work. Once Upon a Time in the West, one of my favorite movies. But then you get John Ford on the flip side of it, whose movies I love, but have like a huge asterisk on it, because I do feel like when I do, a great deal of the John Ford movies that I see are movies that I'm like, they're a little bit of a slog. They're not slow cinema. They're not trying to be meditations on anything, but they really like stay in their world. It's procedural to a fault on a bad sleep day for me. I see the value and importance when I've gone back to revisit it. There's a special energy to John Ford, and there's especially special juice in a movie like My Darling Clementine. We can talk about Stagecoach, we can talk about How Green Was My Valley, which isn't a Western, but of his Westerns, you know, you get Stagecoach, which I think is a little bit more traditionalist. But My Darling Clementine is this character study. It's Henry Fonda as Wyatt Earp. It's sort of this like everything leading up to the gunfight at the OK Corral. It's a moody film, it's a sensitive film, it's a good-hearted film. Like Roger Ebert would call it the sweetest of the Westerns. And he says what is also true, that this film is about Earp and Clementine, like their love more than the gunfight. The real kernel is just like classic genre staples of like, it's about law and order, but it's also about like what stands for reason, the idea of justice in like primal versus civil, and where love factors in all of that, and that's where the fear in lies.